We're live, ladies and gentlemen. We just had a crazy game, and if you want to go watch it, it's live on the YouTube channel. But in case you want just the Spark Notes version, King Heights keep on dancing. King Height Knights get a huge win over Royal Crown. The final score was 98-90 in that one. But we'll see who'll be joining them in this Battle of Southern Ontario. Both these teams also have a lot of undisputed history and reasons why they want to advance. Not just winning, but Ridley College want to avenge the OSBA championship just a couple weeks ago where they lost to Fort Erie. Meanwhile, Fort Erie look to go into the finals undefeated. My name's Julian Quintero Verano, and we're live for the semifinals here between Fort Erie and Ridley College. And joining me here is the one and only Jacob Ewing. Ridley already having gotten us going.
Man, Julian, this is what semifinal basketball is all about. As you mentioned, the game before this was hype. It came down to the final buzzer. I have a feeling we're going to see the same thing here this afternoon.
A chance here as Fort Erie decide to respond themselves, and that will be Anthony Ponga with the bucket. We're tied at 2, and Fort Erie and Ridley with two very, very fun sides. It's C.J. Roberts with the ball. He's able to quickly find Omar Hijazi. His mid-range jumper goes, and they get started as well. First bucket was from C.J. Roberts. The next one by Omar Hijazi. Ridley perfect so far, and they're up 4-2. Jolin, deep three ball from the NPA Player of the Year, but it's just a little off, so to say, and it will be Ridley College leading the charge. Caleb Roberts got his hairs braided for today's game, and we'll see what he can do. Great little find inside to Callum Smith, and they remain perfect. Ridley College executing at a high level.
That's back-to-back possessions there from Ridley College on the offense, where they just had an open man wide open in the paint. They said, thank you very much, taking the shots. Fort Erie got tightened up on defense just a tad.
Ponga takes the screen from Nagor, and it will be a back pass from Ponga. Back to Nagor. His three ball is just a bit short, bounces off. Roberts leads the way again. C.J. Roberts slowing it down. Ball goes out to Hijazi, and he'll find Quinton Ethier here. Backing down Junior Jean-Marie. Ethier fades, and the perfection continues. Ridley College up by 6.
That's just precision there from Ethier. He bodies his opponent, taking his time. The patience is clutch there, and is able to get the bucket.
Jean-Marie finds Jolin. Jolin over to Ponga. Ponga to Nagor, and he gives it back to Ponga. Ponga, pass over to Jean-Marie. Deng Nagor, quick pass in to Gar. Gar tried finding Jolin, but it's taken away by Hijazi. Hijazi right to the basket. Contact with Nagor, but it will be a charge. Great play by Deng Nagor to draw the foul, and it will go the other way in favor of Fort Erie.
Yeah, fantastic defense there from Fort Erie. They turn over the ball on offense, and what does Nagor do? He gets back immediately, sets his feet, and he makes it very obvious as he takes the contact. If everyone just paused on the court, it was an easy turnover.
Nagor now on this right wing, decided to take it right at Hijazi. The hop step, Kai's finding it all the way to Jean-Marie. It's picked off by C.J. Roberts, one of the best defensive players in the country. And it gets popped out of Roberts' hand and goes out of bounds.
In the semifinals game for Ridley College, where they had an 81-67 win over BSP, C.J. Roberts, well, he led the way. 15 points, 13 boards, and 6 assists. Those are well over all of his season metrics in those categories.
C.J. Roberts, he hit the first free throw. He has one more to come. And up it goes, and it goes. 10-2 the score for Fort Erie, and they're yet to miss any type of shot they've taken. Sorry, 10-2 up Ridley. Yes, I thought I said Fort Erie. My brain is a little bit scrambled, but it is what it is. Drive inside, it tried finding Ponga making his way to the corner, but Jean-Marie, who got a little ahead of himself. Ridley College will get the ball back.
Well, talk about being scrambled here, Julian. Fort Erie was scrambled on that offense. They tried to force the play, probably was the set play to get the three ball in the corner, but no one was there to answer the door, and it's a turnover.
Ethier gives it to Hijazi. He's going to keep it going to Roberts. A foul called, a push from Krugar, and that's just going to be a simple little foul. Ridley College get a chance to reset once more. Ethier curls around, wanting the inbound, but it's going to go all the way to Callum Smith. Smith feigns the handoff to Roberts. It goes back to Ethier. Ethier taking it right at Jolin. Backing down Jolin. Has to fade away. It's a tough bucket, and that's the first miss, but it's rebounded by C.J. Roberts. He's going to kick it back out to Quinton Ethier. His three ball. Money! And Ethier trades 2 for 3, and it might not be perfect, but Ridley College taking an 11-point lead.
That's that teammate connection there. C.J. Roberts is in the paint, and his back is turned to Ethier in the corner. But what does he do? He finds a way to shovel it there. Trust he knows where his teammate is planted, and as you mentioned, Julian, the three ball is
We're back from the timeout, ladies and gentlemen, and it's 6:24 remaining in this first quarter. Fort Erie have had to be on the back foot early as Ridley College have come out full steam ahead. And the turnover once again for Fort Erie. It's not been going their way here early. Ridley College get another chance to push.
Ambitious defense there from Ridley College, forcing Fort Erie just toss it around the perimeter and ends up in a turnover.
Quickly the ball finds Hijazi. Hijazi hesitates to find C.J. Roberts. Back to his brother Caleb. Roberts dancing past Jean-Marie. Puts up the three. No. It's bounced around. It's picked up by Smith. Back to Roberts. He wants another one. It's a high bounce, and this time it's picked up by Nagor. Ethier fights for it. It's a jump ball. But it will be in the possession of Fort Erie. Big hustle play from Quinton Ethier to force the jump ball.
And that's what you need, Julian, in a game. Obviously, we understand both these teams are extremely talented. But what will set you over in a semifinals matchup like this to book a date to the finals are hustle plays like this. Ethier already at 5 points, and you can see he's doing a bit of everything on both sides of the court.
Ball tipped and taken away again by C.J. Roberts. He finds his brother. Had a little bit of a scramble with Nagor in the corner, and now Ethier drive inside. The whistle goes from contact on the ground before the shot goes off. So Ridley College will get a chance to inbound again at the half court. Subs being made. We're going to be seeing Junior Jean-Marie and Tutu Aquintalk coming off. Making their way in will be number 9, Pierre-Charles Yimga, along with number 3, Devin LaRosillier. Inbound between the Roberts brothers. It's Caleb right now, covered by LaRosillier. Roberts has to get it out. He does to Hijazi. Hijazi has Jolin all over him. Inside to Smith. His move, wonderful to beat Nagor.
You had to feel Nagor's presence on his shoulder, and what did Smith do? Well, he turned the correct way, and he shot it right away. He had that tad bit of space, and he used it successfully.
The drive for Jolin out to Nagor. He gives it back to Jolin. Jolin inside, through contact, tried kicking it back out, does, finds Yimga. Yimga back to Jolin, into the corner. Ponga gets Hijazi in the air, can't, and it's loose again. Fort Erie keep the possession going. LaRosillier resets it. It's given pressure by Roberts, splits him on the attack to the basket, can't convert it. Ethier cleans it up, and Ridley continue their onslaught. The drive by Caleb Roberts, quick on the cut, and he grows the lead for Ridley even further. Jolin. He calls for Nagor to go to the corner. Has Laversillier on the left-hand side. He finds him. Laversillier finds Yimga, shovels it back to Laversillier. Into Yimga. Yimga through pressure. Up it goes Hijazi, and he sends it out of bounds. What a play from Omar Hijazi.
It's just Ridley College forcing a drive, and while the Fort Erie attacker meets two tall defenders, and it's Hijazi who was there to deny that attempt. But either way, Ridley College is playing phenomenal defense. As you can see on the scoreboard, just holding Fort Erie to only 2 points so far.
Laversillier puts up the three. He won't get it. And it tried being salvaged by Demir Ostaprak, but he's not able to grab onto it. So Fort Erie will get a chance with a half-full shot clock, 14 seconds, to get some points. 4:05 remaining in the first quarter. Inbound goes to Nagor. Nagor spins on Ethier, spins again, kicks it out to Laversillier. It finds Ponga. Ponga right to the hoop, puts it up, and he's not able to get it, but he does draw the foul, and he looks to have Fort Erie's first points since quite literally the opening possession.
And it was him who had the initial two as well. Only 14.3% from field goal so far in this game from Fort Erie, and Ridley College have established themselves a 15-point lead. Got to start hitting shots here if you're Fort Erie. Can't allow a lead to build for Ridley College, because that just builds confidence throughout the game and momentum, if it hasn't already, very well on Ridley College's side.
And so far, Junior Jean-Marie already with 2 personal fouls in just the first. Also, when you look over, Ridley College, they've really been pushing hard on this one, but no individual player has really led the way. 5 from Ethier, 4 from CJ Roberts, 4 from Caleb Roberts. And now Quinton Ethier passes it over to Caleb Roberts. With the ball, it's going to be Jackson Baker. Baker finds CJ Roberts. CJ to Ostaprak, back to Baker, battle inside to Ethier. He's backing down Yimga. He gets the bucket to go. Quinton Ethier, 7 points so far in the first. Laversillier has the screen from Yinga, finds Nagor. Nagor to Jolin. Eli Jolin. Back it goes to Nagor. And Deng Nagor, quick little pass in. And it goes back to him. His 3 ball, short, loose on the ground. Roberts grabs it, able to find his brother. CJ Roberts bringing it up the court, right to the basket, gets the bucket on Deng Nagor, and it's 21-4.
Nifty finish, Avli Nagor having the height advantage. So what does Roberts do? Starts on the right side, takes us to his left, and a finger roll backboard and in.
Yimga thought about trying to find Jolin inside. Instead it's going to be Laversillier. Cannot get past CJ Roberts. Covers Roberts, up it goes, blocked by CJ Roberts, but it's a foul drawn. And it will be a trip to the line for Fort Erie. CJ Roberts with his first foul of the game.
They're just making it so tough on defense for Fort Erie, even to establish anything. Fort Erie trying to run their plays, move the ball around, but they're not getting the shots they want. Ridley College making it hard for them to even set anything up, get to the inside. Unfortunate there from CJ Roberts, just got a little bit too aggressive, but hey, in a lead deficit like they're in right now, you have to be able to make your free throws. Unfortunate there, the first one, just a tad off.
Victor Rosso, he's the winningest head coach in CEBL history. And he used to also be the head coach of the Carleton Ravens. But now, he's over here at Ridley College, and he's had an illustrious coaching career, and now he comes over to Ridley College, and what do we see? Even more from him. They made the OSBA final, and now, after the start they've had so far, they got to keep it up if they want to try to make the NPA final. Ponga going right to the hoop, floats it up, isn't able to get it as it sits on the rim. Caleb Roberts comes down with it. Roberts sizing up Yimga, gets it dumped inside. It's taken by Yimga, passes back to Jolin. Fort Erie forced the turnover. They needed it, and now they got to get cooking again. Jolin tried finding Krugar, can't. And as it's loose, it will be Ridley College pushing again. Ball into Callum Smith. Smith spins off Gar. Back it goes to Roberts in the corner. His three ball off the top of the backboard. It's rebounded by Callum Smith. He attacks Krugar and gets the 2 points. What a bucket, and the lead's up to 19.
It almost looked like Smith caught his defender sleeping. If you're on defense, you got to be aware 100% of the time. Takes that half second, falls asleep. Callum Smith takes advantage.
Gar hands it over to Le Russillier. He's going to shovel it over to Ponga. Ponga inside, stops, gives it back over to Le Russillier. He tried finding Yimga on the cut, but it will be blocked off by Demir Ostaprak. And Ostaprak will make it still a Fort Erie possession. Caleb Roberts on his way out for a little bit of a breather. Checking in will be Omar Hijazi. Hijazi tasked to guard Eli Jolin, and the 3 ball goes long. It's last off of Krugar, who couldn't corral. And Ridley, with 1:20 remaining in the first, looked to make it a 20-point game really early on.
Lack of connection on the Fort Erie offense. You saw it there on back-to-back possessions after they get it back and have an offensive inbound. The shot they wanted should have been in the paint, but instead they have to shoot it from the top of the arc. Got to be better on offense.
Ethier, he catches the ball from Hijazi, dumps it back to Smith. He's open for the floating opportunity, but it hits the backboard, hits the rim, and it lands in the way of Jolin, but he cannot hold on to it before it goes out of bounds. Fort Erie still hold on here defensively. 1 minute left in the first. Bit of a wait here as the referee gets everything set, but it will be Ethier checking in. Ethier pass inside. He finds Ethier after the inbound, but the 3 ball won't go. A foul called on Fort Erie. Player had his arm wrapped around there, and it will be a foul called. Ridley will keep the possession. 14 seconds on the shot clock.
In between quarters here, this is going to be an important time for the Fort Erie head coach to calm his team down. Just kind of looks like the mentality is not there after a poor start.
The chance up in, Jolin with the block on Ostaprak, but it comes out to Baker. His 3 ball, it's long. Smith comes down with it. Ridley College keep the possession going. Goes back to Hijazi. His 3 ball, money! Omar Hijazi splashes home. It's a 22-point lead for Ridley. A great stop there, Ridley College. They've been dominant here in the first quarter so far. Fort Erie making some substitutions. Same goes for Ridley College. Caleb Roberts checking back in. Roberts pushing up quickly. Pass over to Baker. Baker finds Ethier. Quinton Ethier finds Callum Smith. Ball inside of Hijazi. Hijazi floats it up and sits on it, and it will be rebounded by Fort Erie. 7 seconds left in the first. Ponga needs to find someone. Gets it to Jolin. Jolin to the corner. It's Yimga for 3. Gets it to go! And that beats the buzzer. And though the gap sits at 19, Fort Erie with a ray of light at the end of the first quarter. We'll return very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, for the second quarter of action. How many adjustments does Fort Erie have to make? back, ladies and gentlemen, for some second quarter action. And Jacob, early on in this one, we saw Ridley College really take command. And I think, you know what, I think I'm underplaying it a lot. A 19-point gap after the first quarter of the game, that's more than just an early shot to the face while your opponent doesn't really expect it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're effective on the offense, shooting 55% from the field, but I think more or less it's been sloppy from Fort Erie, especially on defense, along open gaps, making easy shots for Ridley. Got to be tighter, and also on the offense. It just seems like Ridley College is all over them, and you can see here on the first possession of the second quarter, able to run the offense, get in the paint, and it's an and-one opportunity for Callum Smith.
Callum Smith now 8 points on the day. He'll get to add to that total with this trip to the line. He's 4 for 5. And when we talk about efficiency, that's exactly what we're talking about. 2 for 21 is the scoring so far on the side of Ridley. Meanwhile, Fort Erie, they're 2 for 12 from the field. So two very different stories in terms of not just shot creation, but shot conversion. Ponga. Pass into Aquintuck. He gets the bucket and one, and 2-2 Aquintuck with the bucket.
And you know, that's something that could spark some offense there. An easy play like that, but in an effective play. Great eyes by the initial ball handler of Fort Erie to find Aquintuck in the paint. And while he won't miss many of those as he's directly underneath the bucket, but this is the simple offense Fort Erie need to run in the deficit they're in right now.
2-2 Aquintuck cannot hit the free throw, and the gap now down to 20. Ethier. He's going to find C.J. Roberts. Roberts to Ethier. Ethier driving inside. He pauses. He looks around. Quick little find. Once more. And one! C.J. Roberts, are you kidding me? What a bucket!
What a phenomenal play there by C.J. Roberts to pick up his 8th point of the ball game. Drives inside, absorbs the contact, and Julian has got himself an opportunity for the three-point play, but he's been all over the court as well. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, just putting up dominant metrics everywhere.
He's been perfect so far everywhere. 2 made free throws and 3 made field goals on the same number of attempts. And I mean, that's been the level of efficiency. The only one that has not been quote-unquote efficient's been Caleb Roberts, and even then, he's only 1 for 4. And that doesn't really matter when the rest of your team is firing on all cylinders. That being said, C.J. Roberts, he misses his free throw. Ponga will be leading the way. Nagor on the side of Fort Erie. Deng Nagor, he puts it up, not able to convert. The mid-range is short, and it gets picked up quickly by C.J. Roberts. Roberts over to his brother. He finds Hijazi. Hijazi ends up getting called for the travel. Just a little too many steps. Might have shifted his feet after the jab step, but that's a turnover in favor of Fort Erie.
That's just a basketball play. Sometimes when you're in the moment, you don't realize how fast you're actually playing at. The feet twitch a little bit. Hey, beneficial there for Fort Erie. They get a stop on defense and a turnover.
LaRosillier leaves it over to Nagor. Nagor attacks Ethier, kicks it out. Ponga open for 3. Money! Anthony Ponga splashes home, and Fort Erie seems to have gotten a bit more of a scoring touch early on in this, but they need to hold on and, most importantly, stop Ridley from scoring buckets. Smith leaves it Hijazi. He responds with a 3 of his own off the iron. It'll be rebounded by LaRosillier. He takes it inside, pausing. Finds Nagor. Takes it to the hole, kicks out to Ponga, his 3-pointer. Had one on the last possession, can on this one, and Krugar holds on to the rebound. It's popped out by a Ridley player, so Fort Erie get another bite at this.
Looking much more calmer in the Fort Erie offense. Obviously, they had the Ponga 3 before, try to get it again, but they're getting open looks, and that's something they didn't have in the first quarter.
Ball out of bounds again, and the referee still says it belongs to Fort Erie. Inbound imminent for Fort Erie. Out back it goes, it's Ponga. Ponga spins around, goes in, fades. Able to get the bucket, and Anthony Ponga has really been trying to string things together. 9 points out of the 14 for Fort Erie have come at the hands of Ponga.
He's looking very confident on the offense, Julian. They've given the ball quite a lot recently, too.
And we chill here for a moment as we look for both these teams. Fort Erie keep it pushing. And it's going to be fun to see where it ends up going. We'll be back here, ladies and gentlemen. Timeout, 7:50 remaining in the second quarter. It's 31-14, and Fort Erie showing early signs of life in this second quarter. It might be a little too much, too late, but at the same time, anything can happen in the game of basketball. Jacob as Ridley inbounds here. Fort Erie putting all the pressure on him. They try getting a quick one. It's stolen by Jolin. And what are your thoughts so far on Elie Jolin? He's not really been able to get off the mark here early.
No, he hasn't, and unfortunately, anybody for Fort Erie hasn't been able to get off the mark, but hey, we know he can get hot in the quarterfinals. He dropped 34 points. All it takes is a couple quick buckets to get that spark. We'll see if he can find it.
We know that Jolin is capable of that, and right now he's guarding Quinton Ethier. Ethier has been nothing short of great so far to start off in this one. He still doesn't open his tally of the second quarter, but still 7 points so far in this game. The three ball from Ponga. He's been firing on all cylinders. 12 points for Ponga.
Somebody had to step up, and Ponga's doing a great job. That's 50% from beyond the arc, now 2 for 4. Someone has to make shots, and Ponga is the one to do it for Fort Erie.
The future member of Cal Fullerton with 12 points so far in this one. He's been exceptional. Ethier's fader doesn't fall. Nagor, quick find inside to Jolin. Jolin has it move all the way around. Every player on the team has touched it, I believe, except for Yimga. And La Rosillier trying to back down. He leaves it to Jolin. Jolin attacks Ethier. The spin move through contact. And isn't able to get it to sit right. It's tipped up. It's still loose. Jolin's still fighting for it. He's putting the pressure on Ostaprak. He tries stripping it out. And it will be a jump ball called, remaining in possession for Fort Erie.
That is much cleaner offense, though, from Fort Erie. In the first quarter, if they would have ran that same play, it probably would have got jammed by an opposing defender's hand or turned over, or probably just a shot that was so unethical. That is a clean possession. They had their opportunity, and they still have an offensive opportunity here.
Inbound to Nagor. And Deng banks him down, loses it for a moment, and it's going all the way once more. The little transition to a layup. C.J. Roberts cannot convert on it, and now running again will be Fort Erie. The shovel to Ponga. He's been open all day. He's been money for most of it, but the three ball doesn't go. It's rebounded by Caleb Roberts. Caleb Roberts dances past Elie Jolin, and it will be pushing up out to the corner. Baker feigns it, pushes it inside. Great little find. Oh my days, the ball movement's wonderful from Ridley, and Ostaprak finalizes. La Rosillier has Roberts covering him. He steps back, gives it back to Nagor as they reset on the perimeter. Ponga ends up finding La Rosillier again. La Rosillier waiting, back to Ponga. Ponga pushing hard, but it goes out of bounds. Ponga couldn't hold on, and Ridley retake possession. Omar Hijazi checking in for Callum Smith.
Yeah, Ponga upset at himself after he turns over the ball. Just shows his passion, and he understands that Fort Erie can get back in this game. And now they feel like they're only down by around 15 points right now. And it was a 21-point difference, I believe, going into the end of the first quarter.
And if you're a fan at home, you're probably wondering that this gap really isn't anything to note for, but Fort Erie, they've been outscoring Ridley College in this second quarter. They're up 10-17 in that second quarter, so we'll see how it really pushes forward for them. The three ball for Baker, though. He lets it go. He lets his bench know. He points at the boys. The boys point back at him. A timeout called once again. Jacob, the gap's back to 19, and we'll have to see how Ridley College respond. We'll be back after this quick timeout, ladies and gentlemen. We return, ladies and gentlemen, for some more action here in the second quarter. And Fort Erie, they had started getting the comeback going, but Ridley College, with that three-pointer from Jackson Baker, closed the door right in their face.
Listen, we're only halfway through the second quarter, and Fort Erie already has more points than they did here in the second than they did in the first. At 10, they only had 7 in the first. It's a step up, but Ridley College, because they had such a substantial lead after the first, can now kind of, I don't want to say coast, but kind of go bucket for bucket with Fort Erie, because Fort Erie has to step up the pace if they want to come back.
Pierre-Charles Yimga hits the deck, and he's not looking too great. They go to check on him, and we're going to pull away here for a second. Look on over elsewhere on the court. Ridley currently talking things out as they check on Pierre-Charles Yimga. And I will say, it seems like maybe Yimga got a little rattled when he landed, and I think a big element of that could also be concerned with what happened to Promise and Landu. Promise and Landu, for those of you wondering, you're probably wondering where Promise and Landu is in all this. I haven't said his name at all leading into this one, and the answer is simple. The George Washington commit got concussed a couple days ago, and as a result will not be able to play. He is on the bench supporting his team. He's here for his boys, which, you know, you love to see that level of commitment. You can tell he wants to play. And I know that he might push himself potentially tomorrow if they make it to tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. Also out for Fort Erie is Gael Bilodeau and TJ St. Louis. So a couple pieces that are all very crucial to the machine that aren't going to be out there. On top of that, though, the free throws cashed in by Adam Ilahikabis. And Ilahikabis makes it look easy for a moment. He's now going to be guarding the inbound of Jackson Baker. He finds Caleb Roberts, and Ridley, as we said, they no longer have to go high octane, but they definitely can't keep their foot off the gas. Roberts to Baker. Baker pausing around. He's trying to dance past Elahikabis. Quick find to Smith. Smith sizing up on Gar. Gives it back to Baker. He had one big three already. Make it two! Jackson Baker making it rain.
Outside, inside, outside for Ridley College as they toss it in the paint and they get the Fort Erie defender sleeping with the open three ball because he's wide open.
Deng Nagor gets up in the air, and Deng makes it fly. His arm stretches back like Luffy, and he puts it through the net.
Listen, there's only a couple ways to swing momentum when you're down as much as Fort Erie is right now, but that is a way to do it.
Ridley get the bucket back, but Deng Nagor, the way that he gets up, sometimes how far back his arm gets, it's like he ate the gum fruit. Crazy to see the bounce on Deng Nagor. He has it now, he kicks it over to Ponga in the corner. He's been the hot hand today, but that one is missed. Picked up by CJ Roberts. Krugar's on the floor. We're waiting to see who that foul is going to be on. And it seems that that foul's on Callum Smith, so Fort Erie will get a second bite of the cherry on this possession. Ethier checks in for Callum Smith. 4:05 remaining in the second quarter.
That's Smith's second personal foul. The only Ridley College player, though, in double digits. He had himself a heck of a first quarter.
Jolene off the inbound, not able to convert on the three ball, and as it ping-pongs off of a couple of players, it will be going the other way. The inbound being made by Caleb Roberts. He's the one bringing it up. And the ball keeps on going as it checks in. No, it won't be able to be converted. Back it goes to Jolene. Jolene finds Nagor. And as it bounces around, it's picked up once more by Roberts. He's leading the way on the transition, and he gets the lay. No, it's rebounded by Baker. He gives it back to Roberts. Roberts continuing on. He keeps it going over to Hijazi. Hijazi to Baker. He already has a couple threes. He's not able to hit that one. Nagor passes it quickly over to Ponga. Ponga hop step in, lays it over to Jolene, and his three ball. It's long as well. Rebounded by Gar. Back up it goes, and it won. Krugar with the bucket. And that's going to help with closing the gap for Fort Erie.
Resilient offense there from Fort Erie after the initial three ball from Jolene, who is still struggling 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. And with the offensive capabilities he's known for, just not able to find it so far in the semifinals, but guarded the paint, able to grab the board and go up and get the and one, trying to convert on the three-point play here.
Krugar gets the three-point play, and he's been very good in these last couple days. Yesterday was fantastic under the rim. He was doing what he could, grabbing boards, blocking shots, and was very efficient with the opportunities that presented themselves to him. Once again, Ethier on the drive. He tacks it, not able to do much with it. And now Jolene puts up quickly. He plays a 1-2 in the corner. And Jolene looks around. Gar takes the screen, gives it back to Jolene. And man, Jolene not really able to hold on there. Ends up getting fouled though, and he'll be able to continue on.
Ridley College now in the bonus, as that is their 5th foul with 2:41 left to go. So Jolene will get himself a couple free throws. And hey, at the line here, this is an opportunity to get his stroke going, because the shots are not falling. We'll see if he can build a bit of confidence here as he knocks down the first one.
He's not able to hit the second. Ridley College pushing forward again. And it will be considered a jump ball. Ridley College get the ball back, but they are a bit shocked on the call there.
It's a bit of a fast call there, Julian. I won't lie. I thought so myself up here in the booth.
The inbound soon to come for Ridley College. And once again, as it's swung, it will be picked up by Ethier. Shovel over to Roberts. Roberts sizing up, 1-2, waiting for a bit. As he waits for it, he has the screen here from Daniel Meisner. It goes back to Meisner. He pops from the screen, but the three won't fall. CJ Roberts tried stealing it from Nagor, and he ends up fouling him. Ridley College. Too many fouls now. They're in the bonus. Deng Nagor heads to the line.
Listen, that was a creative play there by CJ Roberts. Caught Nagor from behind. Didn't even see him. And honestly, I think he got majority of the ball there. But, hey, the ref says differently, and it's more free throws for Fort Erie here. We're trying to accumulate as many points as possible going into halftime because, hey, the bigger the lead for Ridley College going into half, obviously the harder time Fort Erie will have trying to close it in the second.
Waiting for it, it's Deng Nagor at the line. Up it goes, in it goes. No problem for him. And bringing it up is going to be Caleb Roberts. He swings it all the way across to Ethier. Ethier back to the top end. And as it makes its way over to the corner, it will be Caleb Roberts. Roberts pausing for a moment, finds Ethier. Ethier moving it over to CJ Roberts. Roberts for three. Isn't able to convert on it. Nagor pulls it in. And Nagor keeps it pushing to Yimga. Yimga sizing up. Back it goes to Nagor. Over to Jolan in the corner. Jolan takes it to the hole. Pausing. Tries finding someone inside. Does in Ponga. And Ponga fouled on the way up. Free throws coming for Fort Erie. And with 1:45 remaining, they've pulled it back here. It's been a solid second quarter. We'll see how far this takes them. Two more to come.
In the latter half of this second quarter, it's been a lot of free throws. Maybe they haven't been able to convert on the offensive opportunities, but hey, if you get to the free throw line, it's a chance to make up those 2 points you missed on the initial chance. So they'll take as many as they can here late on. And it's Ponga at the line again, missed his first. 4 for 11 from the field, Ponga. He was the one to really get the offense rolling in the first quarter. Pretty much the only one to put up points on the board for Fort Erie in the first.
Ethier here, he drives inside out to Roberts, and Roberts going to continue on with this one. Meisner with the screen, Ethier coming to set one as well. CJ Roberts setting up the play, goes to the side of Meisner. Quick attack to the basket, throws it up to his brother, and it's the family connection that gets 2 points for Ridley with one more coming at the free throw line. What a bucket that was right there.
You know,
CJ Roberts getting up.
Yeah, they say, you know, close brothers or close siblings can read each other's minds. And it honestly seemed like Caleb Roberts and CJ Roberts were just totally on the same page. They understood what they were creating there on that opportunity. And it was just a perfect pass and hook to the shooter's balance there for CJ Roberts as he converts on the three-point play.
Currently, we wait to see how things progress. Sub being made, coming in will be Julien Legonde Leclerc on the side of Ridley College. Quickly bringing it up, it will be Devin LaRosillier. LaRosillier inside, pauses, gives it back over to Jolan. Jolan on the attacks, top step, goes right to the hoop. Eli Jolan with the bucket.
He's got an open lane. He beat Caleb Roberts on a bit of a pivot play, and Jackson Baker, who was in the paint himself, planted there, just kind of left him wide open. So an easy dunk there for Fort Erie.
Legonde Leclerc, pass on out to Baker. Baker trying to beat his man. Contact from Jolan. The bucket won't count. Foul was on the floor. And with 53 seconds left, Ridley College looked to potentially add more to this 14-point lead.
It was the initial step from the Ridley College attacker, just a bit too speedy there for Jolan, and when he tries to cut him off and step in, just gets pure contact, body to body, commits the foul.
Roberts out to Ethier. Ethier trying to take it to the hole. He slows things down, takes it in, fades away. He's loved that shot today, and he continues to add to it. 16-point lead for Ridley. LaRosillier tries to attack the defender, splits him, goes right to it through contact, and the foul's going to be on the floor, but it will remain in possession for Fort Erie. Actually, though the foul's on the floor, he will be headed to the line. LaRosillier waiting for a moment to put it up and in. Does just that with the first one.
First points of the ball game for La Rosillier. Only averaging 3 points this season, but he's been an effective member so far. A bit of a role player on the floor for Fort Erie early on.
But yeah, as talked about earlier by us and talked about some of the fans at home, a lot of injuries on this Fort Erie side, as we talked about Promise and Landu, TJ St. Louis, and Gael Bilodeau all missing in this game. 15 seconds remaining. Really want to get something quick. Roberts gets the defense to bite, puts up the fader. The gap's back at 17. La Rosillier, out it goes to Yimga. His three-pointer, no go. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Ridley College have come out swinging. They currently lead by 17 over the number 1 seeded Fort Erie. Can Fort Erie stay undefeated, make a trip to the finals, or will Ridley College exact revenge heading into the next half? We'll see where it goes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited to see where it goes. We'll see you there.
Sporting events, technology that we have, the device that we have, we are able to spray athletes before they play, during halftime, and after they play, because it's nothing but 60 to 90-second sessions. It reduces inflammation, it reduces swelling, it eliminates muscle soreness. It's very efficient and it's very powerful. Anywhere that they're playing a high level of basketball, they're gonna need recovery. And I must say, this is my first time in Canada. Of course, I watched the SGA, the OKC won the championship, but for me to see with my own eyes, these kids I'm very impressed. I told Tyreek that I'm very impressed with the level of play that they're playing out there. With that being said, they playing long games. Like I tell kids, you have to recover like you practice and play. They're playing every day, they're practicing every day, and they're training every day. So you have to let your body recover. And so I figure that this is something that we could come up here and help them with, and they could also help us, and we can help each other, man.
My name is Chaz Louisi from Arete Threads. We are going to outfit a basketball player from head to toe. We do on-court apparel for uniforms, and then we do...
You guys got to be aggressive. 6 minutes left. It's a 13-point game. Okay, this is the time. Now's the time. Stay focused.
Every player deserves a chance to be seen, a chance to be heard, a chance to leverage opportunities and showcase their skills. At NPA, players and teams can create their very own unique pieces of content, from individual player and team mixtapes to feature stories, program documentaries, and live broadcast experiences. NPH creates high-quality visual content with one purpose: exposure. Canada breeds basketball talent, and the players and programs deserve a chance to showcase it. So wake up, because exposure starts here.
They've been sleeping tons of. Wake up, wake up. Wake up is a new day, new era. Lights on, game loud, move clearer. They slept too long, now the storm got nearer. Wake up, look in the mirror. Wake up, you feel that shift in the air. Stardust burn, old crew in the flare. What's gonna shake when the dreamers declare? Wake up, we already here. Wake up, wake up. Cold floors, no name on the list. We built from the shadows, can't sleep on this. Every miss was a spark, now the flames exist. Universe are aligned, can't resist the twist. They hit snooze while we built in the dark. Now we run plays with celestial law. From the north to the world, hear the engine start. Wake up, we igniting the spark. This the moment when the lights flip.
Every player deserves a chance to be seen, a chance to be heard, a chance to leverage opportunities and showcase their skills. At NPH, players and teams can create their very own unique pieces of content, from individual player and team mixtapes to feature stories, program documentaries, and live broadcast experiences. NPH creates high-quality visual content with one purpose: exposure. Canada breeds basketball talent, and the players and programs deserve a chance to showcase it. So wake up, because exposure starts here.
My name is Chaz Louisi from Arete Threads. We are going to outfit a basketball player from head to toe. We do on-court apparel for uniforms, and then we do warm-up apparel, shooting shirts, off-court apparel. We do track suits, and then we do backpacks to carry all the gear to games to and from. Like North Pole Hoops helping on the league side and exposure side, we're going to help with the apparel side as well. They look good, feel good, play good, right? So trying to help kids with that and help as many kids as possible. Right?
We go right back. Okay? You guys got to be aggressive. 6 minutes left. It's a 13-point game. Okay, this is the time. Now's the time. got to be aggressive. 6 minutes left. It's a 13-point game. Okay, this is the time. Now's the time.
Stay focused.
Workout, we go right back. Okay? You guys got to be aggressive. 6 minutes left. It's a 13-point game. Okay, this is the time. Now's the time.
Stay focused.
Workout, we go right back. Okay? You guys got to be aggressive. 6 minutes left.
My name is Chaz Louisi from Ridley. We are going to outfit a basketball player from head to toe. We do on-court apparel for uniforms, and then we do warm-up apparel, shooting shirts, off-court apparel. We do track suits, and then we do backpacks to carry all the gear to games to and from. Like North Pole Hoops helping on the league side and exposure side, we're going to help with the apparel side as well. You look good, feel good, play good, right? So trying to help kids do that and help as many kids as possible. Right?
To be seen, a chance to be heard, a chance to leverage opportunities and showcase their skills. At NPH, players and teams can create their very own unique pieces of content, from individual player and team mixtapes to feature stories, program documentaries, and live broadcast experiences. NPH creates high-quality visual content with one purpose: exposure. Canada breeds basketball talent, and the players and programs deserve a chance to showcase it. So wake up, because exposure starts here.
Welcome to the new era of basketball. They doubted you. They overlooked you. They didn't believe in you. But now, everything changes. No more sidelines. No more being underrated. No more sleeping. It's time for your game to speak. NPA has traveled the world. We've connected with the top players. We've built this stage. And now, it's time. Time for the game to rise. Time for you to rise. Time for the basketball world to wake up. Welcome to the new era of basketball.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ridley College, they've really come in and put a bit of a beating in this one early on for Fort Erie. Though that second quarter, Fort Erie, they did pull it back. After trailing 26-7 at the end of the first, they lead the second quarter in scoring 24-22. But the overall scoreboard, still a big game. Ridley holding them at arm's length. I'm joined here by Elias Bet, fantastic person to have here at North Pole Hoops, co-founder, and at the same time currently an NBA agent. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. This is a level, multiple levels up from when I was involved. So hats off to the team for putting on such an amazing show, from broadcast to, on-court operations, the whole nine. Everything's been amazing. So it's good to be here as a spectator this time around and really just enjoy.
I mean, as we look around here, Fort Erie, they got to get something going here in this half. Anything. Who's going to be the first one to strike? They get one going right there, and it's going to be Junior Jean-Marie. He was out for most of that first half after picking up 2 early fouls. Going to be a big member to have back for them. But as we look here at this Ridley College team, we know a lot about the impact that head coach Victor Rasso has had on this side, Elias. But we look at the talent that they have on this team. The Roberts brothers and Quinton Ethier have really been the ones running the show.
For sure, man. I mean, offensive execution has been the story of the game. I think Ridley's got every shot off that they've wanted. The level of difficulty on their shots has not been high. And a big part of that is they've passed up on good shot for better shot.
After one bucket from Fort Erie, one way really traded for another for themselves. And talking about that efficiency, Fort Erie so far shooting 34% from the field. Meanwhile, Ridley shooting over a 50% clip, about 52% right now from the field.
And keep in mind, Eli Jolene has been quiet so far. I mean, he's had a couple good looks like this one here and just hasn't been able to connect, and that's very unlike him. A player that has been committed to Santa Clara, very high-level guy in my opinion. Someone in my position now as an NBA agent, those are the type of dudes that we look at early on in their careers. He's very reminiscent of a player, Nick Stauskas, who played at Michigan. I think that's the type of impact he'll have for a collegiate program. Maybe not right away, but definitely by year 2, in my opinion, if I'm projecting correctly.
We'll see where it goes. He had a nice pass there to find Krugar. Gets a nice little bucket, and he'll have one more coming at the free throw line. Let's talk about Eli Jolin. He's our player of the year. I had a nice chat with him at the award ceremony. Very good kid, got his head on around the shoulders, and that's always something you love to see with these players at an individual level. As an NBA agent, how much does the personality of the players, how they approach you, how they speak off the court, affect how you guys approach the recruiting process to add them into your group of people?
Yeah, I mean, any agent that's worth their title is doing the homework in advance. Back when I was wearing my scouting hat, and I still wear it even as an agent, it's important to dive into the intangibles, because I think anybody can, we've had numerous Division I coaches and youth sports, CCAA coaches here. Any of these coaches can jump into the gym and see a talent. It's not difficult to identify who the top 3, top 4 guys are on the floor. But when you go beyond that, you dig into what is their day-to-day like? What time do they get up in the morning? What is their daily regimen like? Are they serious and adamant about their nutrition? Do they stretch daily? Do they do the work outside of what the team requires of them? And when you look at a guy like Eli, he is everything and more.
Right there, a turnover. Really, College want to capitalize on it. They've really been bringing it here, and they make the gap 20 points once more. The timeout has to be called for Fort Erie. They want to gather themselves. We'll be back very soon, ladies and gentlemen, as both these teams take a quick little chat. And I'll talk here with Elias a little bit further about the ins and outs of being an NBA agent along with the scouting process for these players. We'll be right back.
Of runs.
It's a game of runs, ladies and gentlemen, when we return here. 7:31 remaining in the third quarter. Ridley College up big, but as we were talking about here, it's a game of runs and a 20-point gap, quite frankly, and the way that we play basketball nowadays, not exactly that big of a hole to call yourself out of if you have enough time.
Not at all. I mean, if you look at the three-point shooting for Fort Erie, they've been down. The defense has been tremendous as well, just switching and getting out on shooters from Ridley. But that could all turn around fairly quickly.
And one of the things you want to point it out there with the three ball, it's been not that the three balls are coming from bad looks, but rather there's just not been able to fall. Fort Erie, they're a side that throughout the season very efficient from beyond the arc, but they've just not really been able to get anything going. But the big thing for them in this one is they've just not been able to dominate the offensive boards. So far, Ridley College doubles them in these offensive pickups, and that in itself is going to be a big element of how much they got to bring it back here. They got to lock it down, especially on the defensive side when grabbing boards.
You know, and we could foreshadow a little bit into the whoever ends up playing against King Heights here. Ridley has been rebounding by committee, because if you look at it from a pure size perspective, Fort Erie has a ton of size over them, height-wise. So Ridley's done a good job sending three guys crashing the glass.
One of the big things that I've seen is not just the crashing of the glass, but they've really been really good at sealing off the man to make sure they can get good looks at rebounds. I know especially at this level and whatnot, boxing out isn't as much as people make it out to be because of how athletic some of these players are. They can just jump over you to grab those boards, but the fact that these guys are able to go back and forth one each other, seal it off when the ball already hits the ground, it really helps and goes to show that level of determination. Fort Erie so far in this game, a big element for them that's been hurting them is the fact that Promise and Landu out with a concussion, not playing today. And you know, a lot of people think, oh, one player missing, how much is that going to affect them? It affects a bit of everything if you really want to look at it. You see guys that have not really gotten a ton of minutes earlier this season know that their role is a bit smaller. They're getting asked to step up, and even if they are able to perform in those roles, sometimes there's going to be some growing pains, and this is quite honestly not the best place to be experiencing those.
For sure, and I mean, Promise has got a lot of promise.
Yeah.
As a George Washington commit, I think there's a ton of upside there. A lot of people are counting on him at the next level, and you know, hopefully he gets back to full health soon. You never want to see a guy go down with any type of injury, but he's a special player. I've been following along from afar. Haven't really had a lot of time to be, you know, in attendance for a lot of these prep games, but I hear you guys on a regular basis and watch you guys from afar. You know, just the nature of the business now takes me away from the prep side a little bit.
We look over now. Fort Erie want to get a couple possessions in. It's Jean-Marie deep from three, draws the foul, and Jean-Marie will be getting 3 free throws on this trip to the line. Junior Jean-Marie, a young player, still has 1 more year before he has to make any sort of decision for the next level, class of 2027, but the guard's been pretty good so far this season, 6.8 points per game, and you can tell that he's not really the main guy when it comes to putting the ball in the basket, but having talked with Coach Kemi Osei, having seen the impact that he brings to the court, we saw it early in this game. 2 fouls early. Coach Osei decided to pull him to make sure he doesn't get into real foul trouble, so he won't be a big problem to have later on in the game. And immediately from there, Ridley, they just kept scoring the ball. They kept bringing it to them. And it just goes to show sometimes these players, even if the points per game aren't high, even if the counting stats aren't high, the coaches know who are the guys they want to have out there. Edge has a player like that I know in Trevay Jones. Every team has guys like that. And sometimes those guys are the ones that can also put up the counting stats. But in the case of Fort Erie, Junior Jean-Marie, he's really stepped up this year, and he's become a very key contributor to the team. We look further into this one. Ridley College, they're going to try to continue to grow their advantage. Ethier bringing it up. Going to have to throw it all the way across, and it goes out of bounds. No one able to go pick it up. Fort Erie gets to go the other way.
Coach Razzo's furious at that turnover, and you know, you touched upon the coaches in this game and how they've affected it. Let's talk about just the pedigree. You got Kemi, who's a former Division I guy who played professionally. Victor, who I believe was an All-Canadian when he was in U Sports, and then also played professionally and has coached professionally, is a winner in every regard in the CEBL. I mean, this is an unbelievable matchup also from a coaching perspective. The X's and O's, the tactics, You know, the high level of accountability that we don't necessarily get to see as much unless you're, you know, attending practices and that sort of thing. But unbelievable job. And I think that the coaches in this league, you know, now being 5 years out and watching from afar, they've elevated the game because the kids are all, you know, in this position where they all want to achieve, you know, receiving a scholarship at the Division I level. The reality, Julian, is that we're talking about 80% of these kids are most likely going to be U Sports players, and a lot of them haven't even watched a U Sports game to understand, like, a guy like Razzo played at U Sports, and he was a phenomenal player.
I feel like when you look at the guys on Ridley, I think they're a lot more aware of that because they have Rasso on the sidelines with them. And a big element for what makes Victor Rasso so special, especially in Canadian hoops, is that aspect of the tactics. He's not only the winningest coach in CEBL history, he's also a GM for the Niagara C, I forget which two, C Lions, I believe it is. Could be wrong, but regardless, ladies and gentlemen, Niagara have been doing very well lately in the CEBL.
Yeah.
And a big aspect of that was Victor Rasso. Victor Rasso joining Ridley this season. And what has he brought in? He has these guys like the Ethier brothers, like the Roberts brothers. And he not only helps this team go to the OSBA final, where they ended up losing to this Fort Erie team by 2. I think that's a big reason why they're playing with so much heart today. They know that they want to avoid Fort Erie being able to have 2 games on them.
For sure.
But on top of that, when you talk about the U Sports side, he comes from that Carleton team that anytime they've matched up with D1 schools, they always give them a run for their money historically.
For sure.
That's a big scheme fit for them, and I think a big thing from Coach Rasso is very simple to his players. What matters is playing as a team, playing the system, and the stars will rise from there. And we've seen that with the Roberts brothers. We've seen that with Quinton Ethier. They've really risen up through the system, but anyone on this team can contribute, and Victor Rasso's been a huge aspect of the contribution there. Call goes the way of Ridley College, and I mean, Kemi Osei is not pleased about that call at all.
You know, it's funny just watching at the different levels. I'm going to be at the Raptors game tonight against the Pelicans, and just jumping from level to level. Yesterday, I was watching the Raptors 905. Today, here I've been in the gym watching prep, and then later today, NBA, and it's like nobody's ever happy with the refs. It's not a perfect science. They got one set of eyeballs the same way everybody else does, and I think looking at the refs for a way out is never the answer.
I always tell people what I find really funny is when players complain after the call to the referee, and I'm like, they're not going to overturn the call, especially at this level. We don't have replay. There's no coach challenges.
No.
You know, it's like, oh, you're going to yell at the referee. What's he going to do? Oh, my bad. Let's change that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's more heat of the moment stuff. It's just,
exactly,
you know, emotion and ego and a lot of that stuff. But I think the guys that keep themselves composed are usually the best ones.
Big 3 ball from Caleb Roberts. He's been holding down his own in this one, and with that 3 ball, he gets up to 7 points. Scoring by committee has been the case so far for Ridley College, with one minor exception being the 19 points from CJ Roberts.
And I wonder if Caleb Roberts, that offer still stands from Canisius, but I think, you know, geographically it makes sense that they're right across the border and they got to see him a lot. I wonder if that's still alive, and if I were him, you know, I would accept an offer like that from Coach Christian. I think as freshmen, like, this is a big part of the business that I'm in now. Fit is so important because you got to look at trajectory and then work backwards. If we're talking about a kid that's going to be an overseas pro, what level does it make sense for him to enter the NCAA in where he can have major impact? Now, it's become very difficult to worry about fit for people because everybody's chasing the dollar. The era of NIL in some ways has ruined the collegiate level. But in other ways, it's provided opportunity, which they deserve, by the way. You know, the NCAA is making billions of dollars off of these kids, so they deserve to be paid. But what I'm saying is, going back to, like, setting guys up for success, 10, 15-year success, you got to go to the right level. And for a guy like Caleb to have an offer from Canisius, that is the right level for him to get started at, because coaches aren't really taking high school guys anymore.
Big three ball there from Demir Ostaprak. Plays internationally for Cyprus. He's been a great international prospect for him, and he's given it everything he can in this game. The lead continues to remain steady for Ridley College. We've seen Fort Erie so far help keep pace. They've trimmed it down, but when you're only gained 2 points on the other team in the second quarter, and so far they've only gained now 6 points in this third quarter, it's going to show they're chipping away slowly but surely, but Fort Erie still has a very long way to go in this game.
And for Ridley, you can't take your foot off the gas. The game is too tight and there's too much on the line. Fort Erie's a force of their own. Like, they're not going to just roll over and die. So you got to make sure you keep your foot on the gas here. Good open shot, very short.
Ethier can't convert. Now Fort Erie want to go the other way. Jolin inside. He's getting the bounce inside. Try flipping it over to Yimga, but there was some off of that from Ridley College. And as a result, Fort Erie will get a chance again here to attack. 16 seconds still remain on the shot clock. 2:59 remaining on the game clock in this third quarter.
And you see snippets of playmaking from Eli Jolin. On that play specifically, he got the spin and dished it off. One, I don't think the receiver was ready. Two, also, there was a shot available there. Very unselfish play, but it's nice to see his playmaking ability as well. He's not a one-dimensional guy, just uses a scorer.
Ponga up and in, and Anthony Ponga has been a huge part of this game for Fort Erie International. 17th point of the game there with that one. One more to come at the free throw line, and the Cal Fullerton product is going to be great to see. He's going to be heading there next season, and seeing his performance today, I know they're very happy to be adding him. Ponga hits on his second free throw. Fort Erie, for the first time in what feels like forever, really have a pulse. The game's only down to 12 with 2:46 remaining. Immediately, Jackson Baker tacks on 2 more, gets those 2 points right back, but it doesn't matter when you look at the grand scheme of things. Fort Erie is approaching, and as they say on the side of cars, objects in the mirror are much closer than they appear. Three ball from Ponga, it's short. It'll be picked up by Caleb Roberts. He leads the way, he steps back. Nagor putting the pressure he can, gives it over to Ethier instead. Quinton Ethier attacks Jolin right to the basket, and Quinton Ethier can't have it. It still bounces around. Jean-Marie, he brings it in, and it will be Jolin. Back to Jean-Marie.
It was nice to see, during the course of these last 2 days, the Ivy League schools here in the building, namely Columbia. For a guy like Ethier to get looks from that level is super important. To my understanding, I believe it was him that got the academic award,
yes,
correct? And I think he's got like a 4.0 GPA. So hats off to him, man. The guy's getting it done when it comes to the books. For viewers that are listening who aspire to play at the NCAA level, they're looking at GPA as a benefit to the team as well, because team GPA is important as a whole to coaches and how their careers go. So, having that level of self-accountability to be a 4.0 guy is a very, very big deal. And in some cases, this is what will get them. Raise your NIL value.
Yeah, one of the big things I've seen, having spoken with Quinton Ethier throughout this season, he's a very kind man, very kind kid. He's given everything he can for this program, and every time I talk to him, talk about his individual great performances, the first thing he talks about is, well, that wouldn't have been possible without my teammates. He tries to highlight everyone around him about his success, because even though he thanks you for the level of success he has, he knows that it's the people around him that really help. He's like, I can only really control a certain part. I can control my academics. I can control if I make the shots that I get given, but I can't control if I get given those looks. If my teammates are finding me on those, that's what really matters. And Quinton Ethier,
he's going to be getting his own looks. The fact that he's a 2027, we're gonna get to watch him for another year here at this level, but he's going to have a ton of looks, I think, when it's said and done.
Quinton Ethier, I'm just a big fan of how he plays, and I'm a big fan of his personality, really. And that's been nice to see as a broadcaster, be able to mildly be wearing the scouting hat because I'm not exactly someone that's going to be out here thinking about, oh, where could they head, trying to project them. But what I can tell you is I can see where he cuts on the court. I can see how they read the game. But most importantly, I talk to them one-on-one a lot. Pre-game, I like talking to them. How are you feeling today? How are you doing? I talk with them just to make sure that if they're having a rough day, I can keep that in mind as a broadcaster, because you never want to be too tough on someone, especially when they are 16, 17 years old. That really affects the mental. We know that they watch these games back. We know that words really means a lot to them. And one of the big elements that I get to see from these players is how they approach the season. I think one of the big elements, bringing him up here, would be Isaiah Hamilton. Started the season very young, 15-year-old. He was very fiery. He was very angry when things didn't go his way, and it led to a couple temper tantrums. Just earlier this week, I got to see a different side of him on how he composed himself on the court, how he composed himself as a leader. There was a game less than a month ago where Eric Pesh, who is a prospect from Sydney, Australia, he was not being able to play. He wasn't sitting on the bench, and as a result of that, their team leader, which is Pesh, their glue guy, wasn't in the game. And Isaiah Hamilton, in a game that usually he hasn't been someone that takes that leadership role, usually some people have said that he's a diva and whatnot. I disagree with that entirely because he's grown so much just as a person this season. I've seen him talking to his guys, motivating his guys. The teammates talk incredibly highly about him, and that in itself has been exceptional up to this point. And I'm very happy to be able to see that from talents because that's what matters. People will see one thing or hear a story on social media and they'll run away with it. They're not here every day for the games how I am as a broadcaster, talk to these kids and see those little things, and I think those are the things that scouts watching at home need to know. That's why I try mentioning it as much on broadcast
For sure.
when I can see the behavior of the players off the court and mainly how they talk with their teammates, because I think that is the most important part to building a very proper program. It's not just people willing to buy in,
High
but
character.
people willing to be around the people around them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, hats off to Praise from King Heights. You know, one of the most high character kids you'll find, and I think he's, you know, as a 2029, you know, he carries himself with so much composure. He's such a nice kid. You know, the national team folks have told us a lot about him, and I'm starting to learn more about him now. That is a kid that I think has unbelievable opportunity coming his way. The fact that he's so young and just has it so well put together mentally.
Everything has been pushing forward. Roberts looking around. He fades away. Doesn't he get that bucket to go? Nagor rebounds it and he's able to continue it on. Finds Ponga. He lets it fly immediately on the transition and he can't convert on that opportunity. Caleb Roberts slows it down a little. He knows that time's his friend, and when you're up 14, that's something you want to try to take as much care of as you can.
Now getting a bucket here for Ridley is some sort of a dagger. You know, going into the fourth quarter, you don't want the team, if you're down, you don't want the team, your opponent, to go into the fourth quarter with another bucket and have that momentum. I think the psychology of the game, this is where it gets tricky. The psychology of the game now, if you're a team that is down with another bucket against you right at the end, it creates this tense environment in that, you know, in that time.
One of the big things that you can point out is very simple. If Ridley hit a bucket right before the end of the third, Fourier's going to go into the huddle and go, oh, we're down 15, and they just scored.
That's right.
But let's say they, for Erie, make a bucket. They'll go into the huddle and goes, hey, it's only 13. We just hit a bucket. We got to keep it going. And Anthony Ponga's been doing that great. Had a big shot at the end of the first quarter, really drove that second quarter momentum for him, and he's still been the main driver for him on the offensive side. He's up now to 21 points, and Caleb Roberts on the attack kicks out to Baker. His three ball isn't able to convert it. Is rebounded by Krugar. He hits the deck.
That should be a travel.
They wanted the travel call, but they don't get it. They're just going to let the time expire instead. 71-58 in this game, and it's only a 13-point gap for Fort Erie. We'll see how they're able to go. Thank you so much to Elias for being on the call with us today.
My pleasure.
We'll be having Jacob come and join us very shortly, and we'll be back after this quick break. We return for the fourth quarter in this one. And Jacob, when we look at how it's been, Ridley College still lead big, but it's been Fort Erie who've been clawing it back slowly. After being down 26-7 after the first, they outscored Ridley only by 2 in the second, but they outscored Ridley by 6 in the third. And when Ridley hits a bucket like that, it really makes you feel a little bit more sad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That's a big bucket for Ridley to start this fourth quarter because Fort Erie had the lead down to 13, which after the first quarter, you would have expected this to be a blowout. They've made it a close game. They just have to stay consistent. Slowly but surely.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Jacob, but when Ridley College splashes home back-to-back threes to start off the fourth, Fort Erie needs to take a timeout, and we got to take notice. What a bucket from Ridley College, and that 13-point gap that Fort Erie's been so closely clawing their way back from. It's now back to 19. We'll be back after this quick timeout break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We come back a little bit early from that timeout, and Ridley College, you know, when we talk about this side, I mentioned it in that time when I was talking with Elias, but a big element has been Victor Rosso. He's been such a huge addition for them, and a big element has been his work with the Niagara River Lions. He's the winningest coach in this EBL. He got tutelage from Carleton University as a player in terms of the on-the-court stuff, and you can see that he's really been elevating that for his boys. But now with 9:10 remaining, Fort Erie really needs to try to mount a comeback. It's really now or never. Eli Jolan, he's been having a rough game so far in this one, and it will sadly continue with that one. A 3-ball from Ridley. They come back. They aren't able to convert on that one, but they keep their own possession. Quinton Ethier backing down Nagore, and he's going to swing it over to Roberts, and C.J. Roberts that's swatted out there by Nagore, and we will be seeing Fort Erie run again. Jean-Marie goes to the basket and gets those 2 points. What a swing!
That's the tough play that Fort Erie needs. Jean-Marie finds the lane, splits 3 defenders, gets the layup to go. You got to be scrappy here in the fourth quarter if you want to come back.
Jackson Baker thinking about going to Jean-Marie. He's just going to give it back inside to C.J. Roberts. He's been one of the best players today. Really been putting it together for Ridley College. That ball ended up going back to Callum Smith. Callum Smith goes up, and he's called for the offensive foul. Wrapped his arm around Yimga, and he will turn over on that one. Fort Erie still down by 17, and even if it ends up going more their way, even if they have another fourth quarter like they have earlier in this game, time's really not of the essence right now. You got to get going on your horse, and you got to get going now.
Especially from beyond the arc, that's where obviously you're going to make up some ground, getting those 3-pointers, only shooting 34.8%. Got to be cashing from beyond the arc here late.
Jolene has the find from Nagore, and he will finish it there. He holds on to his head. He thought he took a shot, but it will continue on to be a nice little progression for Fort Erie. It's back to being 15. Roberts dumps into his brother. Caleb to CJ. CJ on the attack. He floats it up high. Isn't able to convert it. Hijazi gets fouled. And Omar Hijazi fouled on that one. He'll get a trip to the line. And that one's on number 11, Deng Nagore. It'll be 2 free throws for Ridley.
Jolan still touching his head area. Going to show the referee really was not pleased with that non-call on the offensive side of the floor. He's at 4 fouls. He's got to be careful. Obviously sat for the latter half of that third quarter, but a guy they trust to get the job done with 34 points last game. He's up to double digits so far in this one. So they would like him to have him available, obviously, late in this ball game.
Elie Jolin, a great talent. They're going to try to let him get going here on the offensive side. Omar Hijazi, the one trusted to guard him. Jolin. Inside that goes to Nagor. Nagor hesitates for a moment before giving it back to Jolin. Jolin sizes on the attack. Hop step again, and it will be a blocking foul on C.J. Roberts. And that's a tough one for him to have. And that's his 4th personal foul. And when you're C.J. Roberts, one of the best defenders in the league and one of the most important parts of this side here at Ridley College, really scary to be on the edge.
I mean, yeah, just take a look at his stat line. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. He's been everywhere.
Ball lost on the attack. No foul called as Jean-Marie hits the deck. And as a result, Ridley College will retake the ball. Attack once more. Jolin books it, but it doesn't matter. I'm seeing what the call was here. Was it a charge? Was it a foul? The bucket is called off. It'll be 2-4. What's the situation here? It's a foul on Elie Jolin. That's what the call is. My apologies, I lost track of it there because both benches got up and it got loud in here for a second. I didn't know who was the one cheering, and I think for the players, they didn't really know for a second either. Jolin's bucket gets erased from the board, and instead he's charged with a charge. That's Jolin's 5th, and for the promising Santa Clara man, he's gonna have to book that flight to Santa Clara maybe a little early unless they pull it back in this one, but he'll sadly not be able to be the contributor. Ridley, inside it goes, it's picked up by La Rosillier. La Rosillier slowing things down. Nagor sets the screen. La Rosillier right to the basket, up the glass, not able to do it. It's bounced around, and Ethier rebounds. He finds Baker. Baker, pass to Caleb Roberts. Roberts looking around, dumps it over to Baker. Baker lets it fly, gets it a go, and Jackson Baker continues his big day. 3 threes from number 3.
And he was quiet in the first quarter as well. He's really picked it up in these last 2 quarters going on in this game. Is now 3rd in scoring behind C.J. Roberts, the Roberts brothers. Caleb Roberts at 16 as well, but he is just heated up as time has ticked by.
Free throw once more imminent on the side of Fort Erie. Jean-Marie hits his first one, increases his total to 8. And Fort Erie, they really do just have a mountain to climb here. It's tough to see. I've been to Fort Erie many times. I've gotten to talk with members of the students there. I've gotten to talk with people throughout the entire campus. They love them over there. But in my most recent trip to Ridley College, where we were hosting the Scholastic Tournament, I got to talk with the people at Ridley College. In fact, that was the day of the OSBA final. And I got to see at 1 p.m. that day, Jackson Baker lets it fly, gets it a go again, and Jackson Baker, got to see him. I got to talk with Quinton Ethier, got to talk with Caleb Roberts, and all of them very kind. I asked them what they were doing in St. Catharines when the game was starting at about 6 p.m. at the Pan Am Center. You know what they all told me? Film. The team was still in St. Catharines getting film, and they've been studying throughout. And even though it wasn't enough to learn from Fort Erie the first time around at OSBA, the way they're dominating this game, they've really put to work how to beat the Falcons. And when this free throw falls at 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter, the lead could be up to 20. And it will be up to 20. Jacob, what a game we've been seeing so far today from the Ridley Tigers.
They've had an answer to everything Fort Erie has brought their way. Listen, Fort Erie has had stretches where they've got hot, but Ridley just comes back and answers. But a big 3 there for Fort Erie. We'll see what Ridley can do when they have the offensive possession here.
Big 3 ball on that one. La Rosillier the one to get it. And they keep getting good buckets, but they've not been able to get stops, at least consistently. They really need one now. Roberts attacking Ponga slowly but surely, rocking him slowly, keeping him in. The lulling from him. He puts it up. He doesn't get the bounce on the rim. And now it's going to be Nagor bringing it up. He loses it for a moment, shovels it quickly over to Jean-Marie. Jean-Marie wanting some support from a teammate. Nagor screening on the left-hand side of Roberts. Jean-Marie draws the foul, throws it up, and it will be, I believe it will be on the ground. Yes, it will be on the ground. For Erie, have to set up shop once more. And that will be the 4th foul for Omar Hijazi. And you look here, Roberts with 4, Ethier with 4, Callum Smith with 4. Yimga also has 4 on the side of Fort Erie. A lot of players living on the edge here. And this game so far, it's had its fair share of fouls. 24 from Ridley College, 18 from Fort Erie. And when you do the math, that comes out to about 42 fouls in this game.
And all it takes for Fort Erie to get some of the superstars of Ridley College off the floor is to foul them out. We just saw in that last offensive opportunity, C.J. Roberts went out with an attacker, was able to find the block, but hey, that's inches away from finding a 5th foul and calling his ball game. Having to go sit down on the bench, and he has a game high of 19 points for Ridley. And all of a sudden, the difference may be 17 right now. But if you get Ridley College's star player, leading scorer, off the floor, anything can happen.
We'll see how they approach it after this quick little look. We'll take a look at this Ridley College timeout. They've been doing what they can in this game, and it's really been paying off for them. And I know what you talked about, but when we talk about the timing in this game, the hole isn't something crazy to crawl out of here. 17 points isn't the most egregious thing to see. That being said, when you look at the clock and you realize, that's the concerning part when it comes to it. The clock ends up being a major factor because there's a difference between being down 17 in the first quarter and a difference being down 17 halfway through the 4th. So I think that's going to be a big one. 4:48 is left in this game, and Ridley College, they just got to hold on. They got to make sure that they don't surrender a crazy collapse, because as long as they don't do that, tomorrow they have a date with what seems to be the team of destiny in King Heights. King Heights, the 10th seed, came into this 3-6 from the regular season, having had some struggles, a lot of close losses. They lost to Royal Crown on a buzzer beater earlier in the season. They ended up losing several games by falling away in the 4th quarter. But what they did was their last 2 regular season games, they learned how to conserve that lead in the 4th quarter. They learned how to hold on in those situations. And on top of that, they did just that. A big win over St. Jude's where they held on. A big win over Edge to hold on. And then you throw on top of that a big win earlier today against Royal Crown. And now they're just going to be heading to the finals. It's been great to see for that side. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, the other semifinals was a dogfight, fighting tooth and nail.
And I'm pointing, Jacob can see I'm pointing, you at home obviously can't, but I'm pointing at the scoreboard, I'm pointing at the scorer's table. C.J. Roberts has just picked up his 5th and final foul. He's fouled out of this game. I think the refs are currently discussing, but based off of that symbol right there, I think it's official. C.J. Roberts out. They've been playing with fire, and he's been the main scorer for this Ridley College team. It has been spaced out. They still have 2 other guys with 16 and 2 other players on top of that with double-digit scoring. But with that being said, C.J. Roberts, one of the best perimeter defenders, 4 steals today and a block at the guard position. You throw on top of that 5 rebounds and 5 assists. He's been crucial for this team, him having to come out for this. Yes, the time's down to 4:30. Yes, the gap's 17, but it's stuff like that that can really get in your head, especially as they are now in the bonus.
Well, this is just where you get to showcase your depth of your lineup. You have the benefit of having a substantial lead where you can put on someone who is sat on the sideline for majority of the day and just honestly give it all they got. It'll be a hustle play. Don't make anything easy for Fort Erie. That's all they have to do with 4:30 left. If they hustle hard on defense, I can't see why they don't win this game. I mean, they're up by 17. It should be easy the rest of the way. They just gotta commit.
Deng Nagor misses both of his free throws, and that's so unfortunate to see when you have to claw it back. And immediately a foul was called there on Jean-Marie. That's his fourth. They're going to have to come put immediate pressure. They force the turnover. Ponga finds Jean-Marie. Back out to Ponga. His three-pointer. Money! Anthony Ponga lets it rain, and that makes it his 26th point of the game. Anthony Ponga has come out to play for Fort Erie. Let's hope he's able to really put him on his back. We'll see where it ends up pushing.
Just great ball movement there. They had the initial look at three. They don't take it. Bring it inside, back outside. Ponga has the better shot, and he converts. But then again, Ridley College just come back the other way. Fast transition, have an open dunk, Julian. Fort Erie got to be 100% on both sides of the floor.
The issue for Fort Erie's been they locked in on the scoring after the first quarter. They've just been struggling on the defensive side, and Jean-Marie tacks on another one to make it 14 points. But Fort Erie needs to get a stop. That ball's able to make its way out to Hijazi. Hijazi inside, I believe that is going to be Ostaprak, it is. And Hijazi, quick find to Roberts. Caleb Roberts knows that time's his friend. He passes it over to Ethier. Ethier to Baker. He's open for three in the corner. Can't convert it. It's loose for a bit. Yimga felt that he was grabbed by Ostaprak. That's not the case. Ridley College felt that was last off of Fort Erie, and that wasn't the case. A bit of an interesting situation on that one, but as the dust settles with 3:22 left, Fort Erie once again, another possession. As it continues around, it will be Jean-Marie. He kicks on out to La Rosillier, but he can't hold on. The pass just a bit off. And Fort Erie got to go back on defense.
Nerves have to be high for Fort Erie. They understand their hold they're in. They're only down by 14, but you got to calm it down on the offense. Yes, you need to get a bucket, but you still have a bit of time to convert on those buckets.
I mean, talking about defensive plays, Deng Nagor immediately comes flying in, and he's able to get that steal. Now can Fort Erie get some buckets? Yimga back to Nagor. He goes right to the basket, contact, puts it up and in. Deng Nagor, 2 big buckets needed. They cut it to 12 with 2:49 remaining, and a timeout has been called. What adjustments will Coach Rasso make? What adjustments will Coach Osei make? We'll be right back after this, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go anywhere. We return here, and once again, Fort Erie putting all the pressure on Ridley College. They're able to break out from the press, but they got to get something quick. Ostaprak catches and shoots, gets it to go inside, and Fort Erie's efforts just keep dwindling away.
Clean, crisp passes, especially when Fort Erie is applying that aggressive of a press. That's all you need to find buckets like that.
Jean-Marie into Yimga and goes back to Jean-Marie. He waits here on the attack. He spins around, goes right inside, draws the contact, and free throws are coming for Jean-Marie. And I think that's going to be for the better. Stops the clock, potentially 2 more points, and that'll be what they need to keep closing this gap.
Yeah, junior Jean-Marie has done a great job of getting to the line when needed. He's 5 for 5 so far at the charity stripe. He's got 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Been all over the floor, a great role player for this Fort Erie team. He's up to 12 points, which pushed him about second in scoring behind Ponga, but a very tiny game from Jean-Marie.
Junior Jean-Marie looking to get the second free throw, and as I mentioned, fouls are the name of the game. Jean-Marie's at 4, Yimga's at 4. Jolene had fouled out, and on the side of Ridley College, Ethier currently trying to drive in. He gives it back over to Roberts. The whistle goes, and it seems it was a foul on Ponga. Yes, it is.
And surprisingly, Julian, despite Ponga playing majority of this game.
It's not on Ponga, it's on Yimga. He fouls out of the game. The way that I saw Ponga talking, I thought that they'd called it on him.
Yeah.
But when I saw the referee put up his hands, it was a 9. It will be Pierre Charles Yimga coming out with a foul out. But as I was talking about for fouls, just real quick, I mean, Yimga's fouled out, Jolen's fouled out, Marie's at 4. And if you look at Ridley College, CJ Roberts is fouled out, Jackson Baker's at 4, Omar Hijazi's at 4, Quinton Ethier's at 4, and Callum Smith's at 4. Fouls have been so prominent in this game. We're up to 46 in this game.
Okay, well, here's the stat I was about to mention.
Apologies, 47, continue.
Okay, Ponga, despite having a game-high 26 points and playing every single minute of the game so far, I believe, doesn't have a single personal foul. He's played very clean basketball. He's been to the stripe 8 times. Or he shot 8 times. He's been to the stripe 4 times. But despite being in this ball game, a scrappy game at times, he has himself 0 fouls. A clean game from Anthony Ponga.
Anthony Ponga, as I told you, Cal Fullerton going to be stoked to have that kid next season. Very, very good player. Both free throws hit for Ridley College, and Ridley College is putting all the pressure on Fort Erie here. 2:13 remaining. Ponga ends up finding Elahibicus. His 3 ball, it's short, picked up by Baker. Baker has pressure put on him. Roberts got a breakout. Quick little pass over to Hijazi. Hijazi swings, touch pass to Ethier, and he gets it in. What ball movement from Ridley College to score.
Just tic-tac-toe. It's what Ridley has done all game long, and it's brought them to success.
Another miss by Fort Erie. Ridley College really starting to run away with it. Baker, it's Ethier. He wants to put the dagger in. He can't convert with the 3. And I mean, I say the dagger, they are up 17, but really just close the door. 3 ball from Nagor. He can't convert on it. Hijazi brings it in. Hijazi, pass up to Roberts in some space. He gives it over to Quinton Ethier. Back to Baker. Baker finds Ethier. Back to Caleb Roberts, and he knows time's his friend, so he's going to hold on. Finds Hijazi. Back to Baker. Ethier wide open for 3. Can't convert it. And Fort Erie bring it up quick. La Rosillier going to just pull it in transition off the front end of the rim. Baker tries saving it, plays it off of Nagor. And it was a push, it seems, from Deng Nagor. And because of the bonus, it'll be free throws for Ridley College. And that's going to be another foul on Deng. That's his 3rd one of the day. Sits around and falls for Baker.
Jackson Baker has had himself quite the ball game. He has a game-high 9 3-pointer shot. He's made 4 of them, putting him at a 44% three-point percentage. And with that free throw, brings him up to 17 points. So Jackson Baker just stepping up in the big moments. Only averages 6 points a game. But hey, in the semifinals when the lights are the brightest, man, he has shown out.
And that'll be Quinton Ethier fouling out of the game. He'll be sending Jean-Marie to the free throw line. And we take a look over at Ridley College, who's performed well. CJ Roberts had 19 points. Jackson Baker 18 points, and as you mentioned, 44% from three, electric for him. 12 points for Omar Hijazi. He's been very solid in his minutes. Quinton Ethier, he's fouled out now, but he has 13 points on the day. Caleb Roberts, his brother had 19, he has 16. And Callum Smith finishing this game so far with 11. Now let's see if there's any more scoring in these last 52 seconds of action. Great play from Demir Ostoprak. He gets up to 9 points, and the team scoring continues as it currently stands with that bucket. Ostoprak could make it the, from what I'm seeing, 7th player with double-digit points for Ridley College. Ponga tacks on 2 more for himself. It's 33 seconds remaining. Baker to Ostoprak. It goes back to Hijazi. Hijazi throws it up to Smith. Smith puts it up, flush under the basket to get them to 100 points on the day. And for Erie, it seems they've thrown in the white flag, except for Anthony Ponga. He's still putting in moves here on the side. Crosses back, steps back on Smith, can't put it in. And Ridley College are gonna dribble it out because tomorrow you don't have to worry about today. They go to take on King Heights, and while all the cards seem to be going the favor of Ridley College in terms of the matchups, King Heights beat 2-seeded Edge. King Heights beat 3-seeded Royal Crown, and now King Heights gets to face 4th-seeded Ridley College. We have an upset, ladies and gentlemen, here over at Erie, undefeated no more.
A phenomenal performance for Ridley College. They dropped triple digits, and it's for good reason. Consistency was the name of the game. 26 in the first, 22 in the second, 23 in the third, and their best quarter, the fourth, dropping 29 points. A 19-point win for Ridley College, and you have to feel, Julian, they're going to go into tomorrow, the championship game, with a boatload of confidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an exceptional game here. Ridley College will be heading to the championship against King Heights. How will the trio of Quinton Ethier, CJ Roberts, and Caleb Roberts match up against the trio of Praise Badejo, the trio with Yusuf Ahmed, and of course, the one and only Victor Aoui. We'll see where it ends up going, but ladies and gentlemen, that has been it for this one. From our director, Matt Ritchie, our producer, Tristan Jones, he's been Jacob Ewing, I've been Julian Quintero Verano. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be here tomorrow to watch this championship game. If you can come out here in person and watch it, come check it out. But if not, you're gonna be on the call with me, and I'm very, very excited to have you. Until then, though, see ya.